My name is Sue Reed. We moved here in 1970. We were living in Florida. Gary worked for a space industry. 1969, on July the 20th, we landed on the moon. And after that, there was no more money to do parts for things. So on Friday, 200 and something people got laid off where Gary worked. But on Monday, they laid off another 100 and something. So altogether, 300 and something people lost their jobs over the weekend. So we started sending out resumes and looking for a place to go. TVA had an ad in the paper there, and Gary cut it out, and he finally decided to send them a resume. He had no experience in nuclear power, but I guess not very many people did since it was a new thing, so they called him to come to Knoxville. He came in March of 1970. Joel and I stayed in Florida and finished school and sold the house, and we got here on Memorial Day, 1970. After he had sent in his resume to Knoxville, I had I don't know what to call it, a dream, vision, I don't know. And I dreamed that we were coming to Knoxville and that we would be here to help build a building in the city. So when we got here, it was a little church, maybe 30 people if everybody came at the same time. They had a part-time pastor, Brother Gerald Clark. It was a nice group of people. There were people started moving in from other Church of Gods, and it wasn't very long until we had the small building on Whittle Springs almost full. So then we decided we had to have a full-time pastor. So we called Ben Davis, who is just graduating from Gulf Coast Bible College. He was 22 and a half and very proud of that half. When he told anybody how old he was, he always said 22 and a half. And so he was a hard worker. He was a personable person. By Christmas time, we had the building full, and we needed to do something because we had standing room only. We bought 3 acres at 7 Oaks on Kingston Pike and sold our building and moved into Cedar Bluff School. We had some problems with the land and were not able to get our building started, and so we stayed in the school for 2 years. While we were there, the church continued to grow, and we had a full building and full services. We had everything we needed in the school. Then a lady by the name of Marge Dorsey was driving down Westland Drive one day, and she saw this piece of property that was just sitting here empty. And so she went to the courthouse and found out who owned it, and then she called them to see what they were going to do with it. So in 1973, they sold it to us for $21,000. So then we had to start over with new plans and everything to fit this property. Probably took them a little over a year to build it, so we moved into the building in 1974. After we moved into the building in 1974, we had a good crowd. I don't remember exactly how many people, probably 100 or maybe a little over. We had been in that school. We had absolutely no expense other than just what we wanted. When we moved in here, we had $2,000 a month church payments. We had to buy literature. We had to pay electricity, and it cost a lot of money compared to what we'd been having to spend. So in 6 months, we lost 65 people Some moved, some went to other churches, some were sick, just different things. So we were down to not a very big congregation. So Ben stayed for 5 years, and then he went to Jackson, Tennessee. We had the building finished and should have been doing good. We had 2 interim pastors that were excellent. We had Brother Lovelace, who was from Indianapolis, and we had Brother Cook, who was from Anderson. And they both were strong people. Just when he left, we had 2 pastors, Jerry Owens and Jerry Flowers. We were calling Charles Wright to be the pastor. He was from Alabama. And then we had Tim McKenzie, who came from Moorhead, Kentucky. And he was here for 12 years. The church grew while he was here. At periods of times we had over 200 people. In 1993, we were desperate for more room, and so we kept talking about we needed this and we didn't need this. So one day we said, let's just do it. And so we built the addition onto the foyer and for a fellowship hall. We only spent $150,000 on the sanctuary, but that part of it cost us $350,000. And after that, Tim McKenzie left, and we had a couple of interims, and then we had Lee Wallace. Pastor Lee Wallace was here for 17 years. After he retired, Pastor Norm Patton was our interim pastor for a year. In 2017, we called Pastor Jason Scott from Mount Sterling, Kentucky, to be our pastor. In that time, the church probably has doubled in people. We've done a lot of improvements. We've built a new pavilion. Improved playground. We have many children. Gary is the usher, and he's thrilled to see all the kids running in to hurry to get here. So we have updated the children's wing, and we have seen people baptized. We have seen a lot of lives changed, and people coming to church that have never been in church before. As we think back over the last 50 years, we can see many ups and many downs. And so we're really glad to see right now things are on the up and going with all the new people, double the congregation, and lives changed, people baptized, and we hope that we go on for another 50 years.